On our first page, 513, we have two objects, a straw and a key. Which of these objects is longer? The straw. Very good. Which of these objects is shorter? The key. Very good job. Now we're going to take our pencils and draw an object right here that is longer than the straw. In our video, they used a ribbon. You can use a different object if you'd like. Is your object longer than the straw? Good job. Now, let's draw an object that is shorter than the key. In our video, they drew a paper clip, but feel free to draw a different object if you'd like. Draw an object that is shorter than the key. Is your object shorter than the key? Great job. Turn to the next page. Now we are going to order 3 pieces of yarn from shortest to the longest. We need to draw the missing piece of yarn. So if this piece of yarn is the shortest, and this piece of yarn is the longest, that must mean the yarn that is missing has to be longer than this one, but shorter than this one. Let's draw a piece of yarn that is longer than this one, but shorter than this one. Is my piece of yarn longer than the shortest one? Yes. Is my piece of yarn shorter than the longest piece? Yes. Now I want you to try. For numbers 1, 2, and 3, you are going to draw 3 lines in order from shortest to longest. I'll give you 30 seconds to try it on your own before we check. Draw 3 lines in order from shortest to longest. Good work. Let's check your work and see how you did. So I know we're going to need to have 3 lines in order from the shortest to the longest. That means our first line has to be the shortest line. I want to make sure I don't make it too long, so I have enough room to make these lines longer. Okay, so I have my shortest line. If I am going in order from shortest to longest, the next line has to be longer than the shortest line. I'm going to make my line a little bit longer. Very nice. I have one last line to write, and this one needs to be the longest line of all. It needs to be longer than our middle line and longer than our shortest line. Let's give it a try. All right. Your line should look something like this one. Yours may look different than mine, and that's okay. As long as this line is the shortest, this line is a little bit longer, and this line is the longest. Great work. Now I'm going to have you try numbers 4, 5, and 6. This one is a little bit different. Listen to the directions for this question. Draw 3 lines in order from longest to shortest. Oh, so far we've been drawing from shortest to longest. But now our question asks us to draw from longest to shortest. I'm going to give you a chance to try this on your own. Great work. Now let's check it and see how you did. Okay, so this time if I am drawing 3 lines in order from the longest to the shortest, that means I am going to start with the longest line first. So when I draw my line, I'm going to need to make sure it is nice and long. Very nice. So I have a nice long line, my longest one. If this line is my longest line, that means the next line has to be a little bit shorter. So I'm going to draw a line that is shorter than my first line. Very good. Now I'm going to draw my last line, which is my shortest line. This line should be shorter than the other 2 lines. Again, your drawings might look a little bit different than mine, and that's okay. As long as your first line is the longest, the next line is a little bit shorter, and your last line is the shortest. Go ahead and turn the page. All right, we get to do it again. This time you're going to draw 3 crayons in order from shortest to the longest. So you're going to start with shortest and go to the longest. Go ahead. Very good. Okay, let's check your work. We are drawing 3 crayons in order from shortest to the longest. My first crayon is going to be about that big. My next crayon is going to be about that big. And my next crayon is going to be about that big. So I can see that my first crayon is the shortest, this one is a little bit longer, and this one is the longest. Now I want you to try drawing 3 crayons in order from the longest to the shortest. Pay attention to which one should go first. Draw 3 crayons in order from the longest to the shortest. All right, great job. Let's check your work. If we are drawing 3 crayons in order from the longest to the shortest, that means number 10 should be the longest crayon. First, we should have our longest crayon. The next crayon should be a little bit shorter than our longest crayon. And finally, we should have our shortest crayon last. So once again, your longest crayon should be first. Your next crayon should be a little bit shorter, and your last crayon should be the shortest. Good job. Let's take a look at number 13. Now, in our Go Math books, we would be able to see what colors these pieces of yarn are. But since we cannot see them, I am going to give each piece of yarn a number. 1, 2, and 3. You are going to fill out the questions, the sentences, to make the sentences true. So our first sentence says, the blank yarn is the shortest. Ask yourself, which piece of yarn is the shortest? 1, 2, or 3? Very good. It is 2. So you'll write number 2 right there in that square. Here's our next sentence. The blank yarn and the blank yarn are the same length. Which 2 pieces of yarn are the same length? Very good. Number 1 is the same length as number 3. Great work. Go ahead and turn your page. In a moment, you are going to get to draw any 4 objects in order from shortest to longest. You'll get to draw them here. Keep this piece of paper safe. You'll get to share it with me on Friday. Number 15. I've got a little puzzle for you. The string is shorter than the ribbon. The chain is shorter than the ribbon. Circle the longest object. You'll circle which one you think is the longest right here and save it to show me on Friday. Number 16, your last one for today. Match each word on the left to a drawing on the right. Match each word on the left to a drawing on the right. The first word says shortest. Draw a line from this dot to which picture is the shortest. And finally, this word is longest. Draw a line from this dot to the one that is the longest.